I was a gay record executive. Keep in mind, I love heavy metal. I love the noise. I love the sweat. I love when I go to concerts, it's 99% guys there. And then all of a sudden, this important little cassette came across my desk.
You know, I'm so glad that Alago showed up to see us live.
You know, Michael Alago was an outsider in a mainstream kind of environment. And we always considered ourselves to be outsiders in a sort of potentially, you know, mainstream environment. You could argue that we were perfect for each other, you know?
We were part of this worldwide new music thing that was happening. It was coming from England, it was coming from New York, it was coming from Australia. It was exciting.
He was out to make it in the music business, and you knew it. As cute and as sweet and as friendly and as enthusiastic as he was also pretty seriously aggressive.
Because when you're young and you're in a rock band and you go on the road for the first time and you've read Circus magazine and all your heroes are drug addicts and alcoholics, and so you want to do that too.
When's this going to stop, or when's this guy going to die?
Where my mind would take me, never coming near. Scared my heart would break me. Why am I here? Where my mind would take me, never coming near. Scared my heart would break me. Why am I here? Why am I here?
Live from the zombie apocalypse, it's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. I'm your host, I'm Drew Stone. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's safe. Everybody's careful. These are Coptic times. These are scary times. I hope that I could bring you out of that for an hour or so. We can have some fun. We can look into the past, have a few chuckles. I want to dedicate today's show in the memory of Ellen Stone, my stepmother, who passed away a while back. Today's her birthday, so we miss her very much, and this show's dedicated to her. We have a great show today. We have an exciting show today. We have the infamous Michael Alago on with us. As some of you may know, I directed a film that's on Netflix right now called Who the Fuck Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago. And he's going to be our guest today. We're going to look at some great photos that didn't make it into the film and a couple other things. We're going to poke around. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. I want to thank everybody around the world who's been tuning into the show. Each show, it's more and more people, so it's really great. I really appreciate it. Before we get going here, hey, if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same fucking clothes every time you see me, it's because I haven't been home in 5 weeks. I'm down in Florida. I came down here a couple of days. I came down here for a couple of days 5 weeks ago to spend some time with my father, and I've been down here ever since. So that's the case. As we get cracking here, I want to make a couple upcoming show announcements. Of course, the next show that we have on Friday is Lou Kohler from Sick of It All. And then this Sunday, we have the special A7 Sunday matinee show. We have with us, very excited about this one, Mr. Roger Moret is going to be with us on Sunday. This is going to be a blast. Roger has a deep history in New York hardcore, and we have a lot to talk about, and I go way back with him. So let's get things cracking here. Let's bring on photographer Steven Messina, Hardcore Shutterbug, and let's get down with the picture of the day. What do you say, buddy?
How's everybody doing? What's going on?
Are you in the storeroom for your job?
I'm in the storage bunker here. I'm in the supply bunker in Shea Yard. I got the metal door down to keep out the any keep the social distancing going. But and you can see I got my breathing masks behind me. Staying
right.
safe, keeping everybody else safe around me.
Okay, good.
But and happy birthday to your mom.
Right. Okay. So
So
thank you. So let me dig out the photo of the day. We'll take a look at it. Let's see what we got here. All right. Very cool. Okay, well, I know what this is right off the bat, because that's Rocky George. That's Rocky George on the left, and if that's Rocky, and obviously that's Mike Muir. So this is Suicidal Tendencies, right?
you are correct, sir.
And from the look of it, seeing who seems to be playing bass on the far side there, this looks like a pretty old picture of Suicidal Tendencies, huh?
Yeah, this is going back. This is the second album, Join the Army era.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think that's Luigi Mayorga playing bass back there.
Actually, I think you're correct.
That's pretty cool, man.
I think you're correct. And this is at a place called Sundance in Bayshore. I know you know it.
Oh yeah, man.
And
Frank
Sundance.
Frank Cariola's
Oh, yeah.
Sundance.
This
right?
was like Long Island CBGBs.
Right.
If the bathrooms were overflowing, people were ripping the sinks out. I saw so many amazing shows there, from the Crumbsuckers, Suicidal, GBH, all the way to Guns N' Roses. And it was like insane shows at this place. And there's a hospital right next door, which was very convenient for when slamming got out of hand and people got their heads cracked open. But it was just such a great place. It really was. And so many good memories there. So many great shows.
Good. Fantastic. Well, thanks, buddy. And always a pleasure. Keep digging deep. Like I said, go deep, because we have a lot of fun with these,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just tells me how old I am.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Take care. There you have it. Stephen Messina, photo of the day, Suicidal Tendencies at Sundance. I mean, a lot of us New Yorkers remember Sundance way out in Long Island. Frank Cariola's Sundance. It was a pretty crazy place there for a while. I want to, a couple of things. I got a sponsor that's on board with the show now, and our sponsor is Riot Amplification. Riot is makes guitar amps and guitar amplification. They're a small company that makes guitar amps, attenuators, and direct recording products out of North Hollywood, California. Their gear is used by the Deftones, Helmet, Candiria, Stone Temple Pilots, Powerflow, Antidote, Volbeat, Downset, and many other heavy bands. So we want to welcome Riot to the party. They're going to be sponsoring the show, and we appreciate that. We need a couple of sponsors. If anybody wants to come on board, be a sponsor. I don't give a fuck if you have a landscaping business or, whatever you do. If you want to sponsor the show and get involved, we'd sure love to have you aboard. So let's talk a little bit about our first guest that we're bringing on. We got a couple surprises. Our first guest is someone that I've known a long time now. I consider him family. I spent a couple years making a film about his life. He's a beloved New Yorker. He's a beloved New Yorker, born and raised in New York. Has an incredible story. Like I said, a couple years I made a film. It's on Netflix right now. It's on Amazon Prime. And let's see. Let me find the poster here. So here we go. The name of the film is Who the Fuck Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago. It's got a couple of characters in it. Metallica, Cyndi Lauper, et cetera, et cetera. So without any further ado, let's bring on our friend and guest, Mr. Michael Alago. Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
What's happening, Cupcake?
Woo! I'm in self-quarantine here in my Chelsea apartment, and I think I'm loving my isolation a little too much. I may never leave the house again. We'll do this all the time, every day with everybody.
So, you know, I'm not in New York. How's things in New York? I mean,
the streets are empty. There are still some people out on the street that don't pay attention. They are not wearing their gloves. They're crazy people. But mostly it's empty, the city, because the mayor, I mean, not the mayor, our wonderful governor, Andrew Cuomo, lays it out to us really clear, him and Dr. Fauci. There's serious shit going on out here. People get infected on a Thursday and they're dead on a Monday. So I'm paying attention because I'm extra cautious. Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Let's get cracking. Let's talk about a few things. We did the film. We had a nice run for a couple years.
And they renewed us on Netflix. I think we're up till at least September 2020.
We're still on Netflix.
That's fantastic.
It's been a great run. Do you still when you're out and about in New York, do people still come up to you and go, "Hey, who the fuck is that guy?"
Yes,
they happen.
Yes, they do. It's very funny. It happens only now, maybe once or twice a day. But the way it also happens is because so many people every day write to me, everywhere from Tel Aviv to Costa Rica, that people are only still now seeing the movie, and it's been out almost 3 years.
Right.
But it continues to grow little by little. You did great work, and it was wonderful that all the A-list artists that I got to work with, I was privileged to work with, said yes, and they were all fantastic, and they gave great information, and so it's very exciting still.
Good. So let's poke around a little bit. I got some pictures.
Okay.
Pictures. I want to throw them out there. Let's have a few laughs. Let's have some fun with it, and then we're going to bring a special guest on us. So let me poke around. Let me see what we can get into here.
Start poking.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. What's going on? What's going on with this?
Oh my God. That has to be, I don't know whose apartment that is. It's either Marina or somebody. I have my Japan t-shirt on. That's my friend Jody Ribello.
So Jody Ribello was like a science project for you, huh? When you were a teenager.
Well, we never did it or anything, but I love Jody. She loved me. We both were big fans of the Dead Boys, and we started the Dead Boys fan club when we were underage, under 18. We only made one zine called All This and More. It was the name of a song on the first album, Young, Loud, and Snotty. And it's pretty cool, but you know, what do 15-year-olds know about starting some kind of a membership or a fan club? So we just stayed close to the band. We loved them very much. We became friends with them, and I have stayed in touch with all of the surviving members up until this point. So Jody Ribello.
Were you? We didn't talk about this in the film. But weren't you in a band for a minute? Weren't you the singer in a band for a gig?
I had a band with all these Long Island cats called Multiple Exposure. We had fun. We were like a new wave band. We played CBGBs. We played we played the Heat downtown. We used to play Long Island and the Empty Can and all these places. And we did a lot of cover songs like Pump It Up and Wild Horses. And I don't know, it was okay. It was fun. I got it out of my system. And then the next thing you know, I'm 19 and I start a job at the Ritz.
Right. That's a great story, how you sort of wandered into you wandered into the Ritz while you were doing deliveries for the pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of wandered in there, and a voice came from the balcony who said, you know, "Can I help you?" And you would just say, "Hey, I want a job and I want to work." Sure. And that person turned out to be the great Jerry Brandt.
Sure. I was taking lunch one day. I was working at a pharmacy on Astor Place. I'm walking down East 11th Street. The people who don't know the Ritz know it now as Webster Hall. It was a beautiful building, Art Deco, the 1920s. And I'm looking all around and wondering, and a voice from the balcony comes. It was like the Wizard of Oz. And it turned out to be entrepreneur Jerry Brandt. I don't know this at the time. He asked me what I wanted. I said, I want a job. I don't have a resume. He thought there was some humor in that. So he called me up to his office. We started talking about music. We talked about all kinds of music, the Great American Songbook to what was going on in the New York scene and what was on the radio. He liked me and he said, kid, I'm going to give you a job. You're going to open my mail, you're going to get my lunch, and you're going to answer my phone. Well, I was thrilled. I was 19 and I felt like I'm in the music business. And that really was the beginning. That was the seed, the germ of my next 25 years at record companies.
Absolutely. And it was such a vibrant.
You know, hon, I think you would like, I'm sorry, in case you didn't know, Jerry came from the William Morris agency mailroom with David Geffen. Back in the day, Jerry worked with Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke. He discovered Carly Simon, the voices of East Harlem, Joe Bryant, who they thought was going to be the biggest thing on Elektra, the biggest flop known to man, gay entertainer. They thought that he's going to be the next Bowie. It didn't happen. Jerry was a force and is a force to be reckoned with. He's down in Florida in retirement, and Jerry was my first mentor, and it's the reason that I got into the business. And
absolutely, and it was just one of those magic moments. Like to me, knowing the story and making the film, out of everything, that was the great rock and roll magic moment when you wandered in while making deliveries for the pharmacy, and this guy saw the spark in your eye, and he fucking hired you.
Yes. On the spot. No nonsense.
Wow. I mean, that's heavy. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see.
Sure.
Let's see what else we got, and we'll talk about. You know, here this, I like this one. This one's.
Oh my God.
So
that
this
hair,
to me,
look at my hair. It's very Farrah Fawcett, honey. This is, I think, my friend Bill Arning from the Student Teachers took this. I think we were at the early show at the Bottom Line for Brian Ferry. And I'm sure tickets were $5.50 back then.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, what a beauty. Still a beauty, Deborah Harry.
Yeah.
Fun picture.
Yeah. And we didn't, there's a couple things I didn't use. We didn't put in the film.
Wonderful. Okay.
Let's
check them out.
That was one of them. Let me see what else we got. How about how about this is interesting. You sent this to me. I haven't seen this before. We haven't talked about this before. Looking at, is this the dam that CBGB's in 78, 79?
I think it has to be, hon. I think it has to be probably 79.
You saw these shows?
Yes. Now the odd thing is I don't remember why the Dead Boys weren't listed on this specific advertisement, because they opened up the shows that weekend. I don't believe the dam came back again after that. But yeah, I did see those shows. I became friendly with Brian James. And it was the beginning of this UK explosion at CBGB that Hilly Crystal, the owner, felt what was happening. He brought over the Dead Boys, Death School, Eddie and the Hot Rods, Chelsea. I have a Gene October story. Took him home. And Penetration, Pauline Murray's band. I don't remember if the adverts played there, but I know I saw the adverts somewhere in New York. Way back in the day, 78, 79. Sure. Exciting times. My home away from home.
I think that the Damned were the first English punk band to play CBGBs. if my history
It could be.
if my history serves me.
And I could be mixing that up. Maybe Dead Boys weren't listed on there because the Damned came back again. And that was a full-on weekend, because once I got to that early show on a Thursday, I practically didn't leave till Saturday night, late show.
Well, you spent a lot of time at CBGB's early on.
I got there in '75. My friend Leslie from New Haven, Connecticut, took me, and I got to. It's when the stage was on the other side, and this far from the floor.
Wow.
And I saw Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers when Richard Hell was still in the band. He was only in the band a few months. So I began there, and I was there till the very last night, October 15th, 2006. And let's see, Patti Smith played that evening, and I don't remember who else, but it was a crazy night. I hung out with Jim Carroll, the great poet Jim Carroll, my dear friend Danny Fields, who discovered the Ramones and Iggy Pop and managed them at certain points in time, and David Peel, Have a Marijuana. David was also on Electra because of Danny Fields. And so in between the sets, we all hung out outside, and it was beautiful, and it was melancholy because it was the last night. Oh, and I hung out in the basement because I remember taking pictures with the great late, my dear friend Arturo Vega. I think Jimmy Marino took those pictures of us.
You know, you mentioned Danny Fields.
Yes.
And as I was putting the show together, I was looking through the archive of, photos that we used, and especially the photos that we didn't use for the film.
Sure.
And I came across this. Which is a shot that Danny Fields took, and we didn't use it in the film.
I wonder why.
Well, because we used one that was pretty similar to it.
Okay. Oh God, wasn't that like the back of CBGB?
Exactly.
You don't know what the hell was crawling back there, and it was crawling. We use a very different picture in the film. I think they were in front of some music store. It was like a faded color image. It was fabulous. Sure. Anyway.
But I saw this today as I was going through this stuff, and as people may or may not know out there, Danny Fields was managed the Ramones. He was Michael's mentor. Mm-hmm. There's a film about him that's out there called Danny Says.
Yes.
And I believe that still might be on Netflix as well. It's a documentary about Alago's mentor, Danny Fields, and he took a lot of these great photos of the Ramones. And this one caught my eye today because it's in the alleyway behind CBGB's. And
you see CBGB's truck there, Drew?
Yeah.
I did. I just noticed the logo.
Yeah, but now this alleyway is like cleaned up, and there's a new building next to it, and there's a couple of stores, and this alleyway, which was, this was a classic. This is in the 70s, is now, like, due to gentrification, it's
major,
unrecognizable. Alleyway is unrecognizable.
Everything in the East Village is unrecognizable these days. It's gentrified to the max. And, I don't know, I guess it had to happen, it being a big city and where tourism is so important that if you left it looking like crap, people would not have come. But, we lived through these great times. I was coming into the city at 15 years old, taking the B train from Borough Park in Brooklyn into Manhattan, and I had no fear. I think I was naive, but I just bustled along with my knapsack and my Minolta camera, and I was fearless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you're a couple years older than me, 2 or 3.
Sure.
But
I was 16 in October.
Right. And so you being a couple years older than me, you actually got a good taste on Max's Kansas City, which I was a little, being a few years younger, and coming into it as like a hardcore kid. For me, it was like CBGB's A7. I went to Max's a couple times, but Max's was a big part of music, the music scene in the late 70s, right?
Sure. Yes. As much as I hung out at CB's, I hung out at Max's. There were a lot of times if I knew there were great shows in the same evening, I would walk up Bowery to Park Avenue South to 17th Street. Back then, I was a bit underage still, but Tommy and Laura Dean, who ran the place, was at the door, and Mark Cooch was at the door, big hunk of a dude. He played in Alan Vega's band. Back then, I saw Cherry Vanilla, Suicide, Alan Vega, Sid Vicious, The Boyfriends. Oh gosh, my brain.
Well, there was
The Marbles. There was so many artists that were young artists that were playing back then, and I loved it equally as much as I loved CBGB. But my favorite band to play, Max's, was Suicide.
Let me throw up a picture. Let me ask you about this band. I mean, this band is yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Let's just put a picture up and you tell me about this band and what's the story with these guys?
These young people, I think they were called Alcoholica. They were Metallica, early days. That has to be 1982, 1983. Extraordinary band. You know, I signed them to Elektra Records the summer of 1984. They were on a little label called Megaforce Records. At the time, I met Johnny Z, who became a colleague of mine. He was putting out these extraordinary records by Testament, Metallica, Raven, and Anthrax. But they were such a small label that I knew and he knew that they couldn't take these bands to the next level. He wanted me to sign Raven because he thought they were going to be the next big thing. I gave him $5,000. They gave me back 5 great songs. But the problem was I heard Kill 'Em All. So in a nutshell, so you can go read the book as well, even though I've told this story 200,000 times, at Roseland, I wound up signing the band. And the beauty of that evening was Raven got signed to Atlantic. Anthrax got signed to Island. Everybody went home happy. And that signing was historic. It changed the face of rock and roll. It made all the other record companies want their own Metallica. That doesn't happen. It made the fans want to listen more to that type of music, which was, how do you explain it? It was Metallica putting together punk and thrash, British heavy metal, traditional American heavy metal into this stew, this thing that didn't sound like anybody else. And people were like losing their mind over them. And, you know, here we are talking about them in 2020, and they still are at it. They still play stadiums, and they are just brilliant. Really, very special.
You loved them from when you first saw them, huh?
From the get-go, yes. And I knew, even though they were wild and crazy and being called Alcoholica, that there was a spark on stage with all of them that I just felt, you know, James was this ringleader on stage. He knew how to whip the crowd into a frenzy. He was just very charismatic up there. And I knew from the get-go, honest to God, that I had to have these people in my professional life and, of course, later in my personal life.
Here we have a question here from Thomas Starkey. Any Cliff Burton memories?
Well, my Cliff Burton memories are very short because the day after Roseland, they came to my office. We're sitting in the conference room. We have Chinese food and beer, a favorite of all of ours. And Cliff was just so lovely and funny. I gave everyone cassettes and vinyl of some of the catalog of Elektra, the Doors, the MC5, and the Stooges specifically. Cliff knew about this esoteric label that we distributed called None Such. And that's what he wanted, all the esoteric vinyl. And then he wanted to know if I had Simon and Garfunkel. I said, no, darling, they are on CBS, but I will get you some. Cliff was really lovely. I used to give him a hard time about those elephant bell bottom jeans. And he would be like, Alago, fuck off. Just get me a 6-pack. He was lovely. For me, he was the most accomplished of the musicians in the band at that time. I didn't see lots of him because they were on the West Coast. I was on the East Coast, but what a character, lovely young person. And of course, in 1986 was unfortunately killed.
Yeah, horrible. So, I mean, we're skipping around a little bit, but
okay.
you know, but here we are in the zombie apocalypse, and there are no rules, so we'll do whatever the fuck we want.
Sure.
So I'd like to bring a guest on. He's a friend, old friend of ours. He's an old friend of yours. He was a part of one of the first bands you signed to Elektra Records.
Yes, of course.
Some of our friends out there may know him. He plays in Monster Magnet. He was in Murphy's Law, and he was in the mighty Blitzpeer. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Phil Cavano. What's happening, buddy?
Hey,
What's
fella.
going on, Michael? Drew? What's happening? How are you guys?
We're good. What's the update? What's the
I'm just
update?
going to say one thing before he starts. We've been friends 38 years. Oops. Now, and it's been a fantastic ride through the ups and the downs and the everything. My brother.
Yeah, and then we might as well tell we've known each 38 and we've been married for what, 29?
At least, yes.
Okay. What's going on, guys?
So Phil, you guys connected in the Dead Boy days, right? The CBGB's Dead Boys, and I know Phil, you're a big lover of the Dead Boys.
One of my all-time favorite bands ever.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. You know, when you were a kid and seeing that, and lucky, I look at all that stuff too. Like, I was lucky to be there, lucky to be at the right place at the right time. You know, and you look at those days, like historically, musically, when it comes down to it, it was a short amount of time as far as years go. And I don't think that gets looked at enough. Like, so much magic happened in a short amount of time. So they were the first band I saw at CBGB's. It was a little bit after what you're talking about with Michael about the Dead Boys Damn thing. The guys I was playing with in Shrapnel at the time, we were actually called Heart Attack before that. We were like stoned out.
Was it Heart Attack or was it Heart Attack?
Hard Attack. Hard after the Dust record. Hard. I was really into this band Dust, maybe because I was smoking a lot of dust. I don't know what it was.
Wasn't Dust the band that one of the Ramones played in?
Marky Ramone played drums. He was Mark Bell.
Played drums, right?
And the other guy who was in Dust was Wise, and he went on to produce the first two Kiss records.
Wow.
He was a guitar player, writer, Richie Wise, and he was part of the team of Richie Wise and Kenny Kerner.
Wow.
So they were part of a whole, like, Dust was like, from what I understand, and Kenny Aronson was the bass player.
Yes, that's
Kenny
right.
Aronson has a great, amazing musical career.
Of
Played
course.
with one of my, growing up as a bass player, he was one of my all-time favorites. But
yeah.
So here we are, kids from Jersey, just, you know, very similar to what Mike was talking about. Like, you know, I hitchhiked to New York to go, like, who hitchhikes? I hitchhiked to go to CBGB's. Getting in idiots' cars. But that time frame and seeing the Dead Boys walking in and seeing Baders and Chrome and Johnny Blitz and Zero, and it was just a phenomenal night. And it honestly changed my life.
You know, I've said this before that I didn't really know that much about the Dead Boys before I did the Alago film. I mean, of course, I knew Sonic Reducer, I knew who they were, but I didn't know the history. And wow, I must say that after doing the film and doing the research, you know, they were really great. I love them now. You know, it's like it's not that I didn't love them before. I just they weren't really in my universe. I was a hardcore kid. You know, I didn't really. They weren't really in my universe per se. Hey, what's going on with Monster Magnet? Were you guys out on the road when this thing hit?
Yeah, you know, we were like insanely lucky because we were doing the Power Trip tour in Europe.
Right.
So I was in Europe from mid-January to March 1st.
Wow.
Right? So we were just kind of like ahead, like, you know, we heard about, you know, coronavirus and stuff like that, but we weren't really thinking too much about it. And we started to be more aware of it at the end of the tour. And we were supposed to be home. We were scheduled to start our American tour 2 weeks after we got home. And, you know, the writing was on the wall. It was right there. And I give Windorf a lot of credit for just, you know, postponing the tour really early in the game because, you know, we felt very lucky to get the European tour in. And we just started, you know, Dave has his finger to the pulse of the news, and he was following it more than I was.
Right.
I was following it, but not like him. Like he's like Mr. Internet, Mr. like every little thing, and reading every, bouncing between news channels, listening to every press conference, you know. And I knew because something happened the night before, and I knew going to bed Dave was going to call me with something on his mind. And he goes, I really think we have to pull the plug. And the thing that he said that was most important thing was that it wasn't about us. He didn't want to be responsible for people showing up and getting sick, and God forbid something happens to somebody.
Right on.
And I had told Dave, I said, and I just told him in 5 minutes, I go, whatever you decide to do, I support you 100%. We have to do this together. You know, this is something we could have never seen coming as hard as it did. But I think he had a feeling, you know, and I'm, you know, hey, life goes on. You know what I mean? It's not about what you do all the time. You know, so we'll tour again. We've actually postponed the tour until early January of next year. We got offered July, and we were like, it's a little too soon.
Yeah,
let's ride the storm. You know, like there's something going on a lot bigger than anybody. So we got to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Shrapnel and just real quick, signing Shrapnel, who was in the band and what was appealing to them back then?
Yeah, Shrapnel were a New Jersey-based band that at one time were managed by, I think, Legs McNeil. I heard about them. They were also a favorite of the writer Norman Mailer. I saw them a couple of times, I think maybe at the Lone Star and at CB's. They didn't have a manager. They were totally adorable, and I thought, oh, I think I should work with these people. So I became friends with them, and that was Dave Windorf, Phil Cavano, Dan Clayton, Dave Vogt, may he rest in peace. And who did I just forget? Did I forget Dan Clayton? Daniel Ray. Please. So I know these people 38 years now, but then I was new to my job at Elektra, and we made an EP, a 5-song EP that was mostly produced by Richie Cordell, who worked with like, Tommy James and the Shandells, and all wonderful people. There was 1 or 2 cuts that were produced by Vince Ely, the drummer for the Psychedelic Furs. It did okay at college radio, but it didn't really get any traction. So unfortunately, I had to release them from their contract at Elektra. They went on to still play, put out some 7-inch records and stuff, and we're all still friends to this day.
Well, yeah. I mean, you worked with them time and time again. I mean, Daniel Ray produced some of the records for some of the bands that you signed, including the Misfits. When you signed the Misfits to get the records,
Daniel produced American Psycho, and Andy Wallace mixed it. We loved Andy Wallace because we loved Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer, and we thought we got to make this record fantastic. And it's a fantastic record. You know, they had a new singer then, Michael Graves. You know, I always thought the Misfits were like a pop band. They were a pop band who talked about comic books and horror movies and death and all this fabulous stuff. So yes, that came out on Geffen Records in 1997, and I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, I think we just kind of met then because you asked Jerry Only if the band that you were managing, Sub-Zero, could go on the road with them. And so we all wound up in Spain. I remember, I see a picture or 2 floating around the internet. All I remember is drinking and fighting with everybody. I'm sure the shows were good too.
Yeah, it was a crazy crazy tour.
Yes.
You know, I was managing Sub-Zero. Jerry Only's an old friend of mine. When I joined Antidote, the drummer was Arthur Googie, who just left the Misfits, and so I have a history with those guys. But you know, Jerry hooked it up, and the band I was managing went out on tour, and that's in Europe is when you and I really got to know each other. And but I got to say, like, I love that record, that Misfits record, American Psycho.
It's honest to God, from beginning.
I think it's great. I really love that record. It's produced well. The songwriting's good. I think, you know, I like Michael Graves as a vocalist. I liked it very much. Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to come on the show sooner than later, and we got to go deep into like the Murphy's Law stuff and the Lower East Side stuff. And all that stuff. So will you come on within the next couple of weeks?
I would love to. Yeah, the Murphy's Law days for me were great memories, great time, great guys. You know, I had a blast doing that. And, you know, I always, Jimmy and Todd and the guys have such a big place in my heart, you know, like, I often tell the story and we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. I remember when, Todd called me that said that Jimmy wanted to talk to me. And I thought either two things were going to happen. He was either going to ask me to be in the band or he was going to beat the living shit out of me for something that's stupid that I did, that I didn't know what I did. But that's what I thought. But Murphy's Law was the first time I ever went to Europe, and we had an amazing time. Jimmy and I have been friends since, and I love him. And yeah, I'll come on anytime you want. It'd be a blast.
There's a shot of you and Alago in some.
Oh yeah, that's one of Arturo's photos.
Oh,
the great Arturo Vega. We went to
That
a
was at
show
the
at Howe
art show,
on
yeah.
East First Street.
Yes.
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool silk screen.
And last but not least, before we bid you adieu, Phil, here's a shot of you and me.
Yeah, my studio. Here we are.
In your studio,
Red Bank, New Jersey.
Real quick, you still have the studio? What's happening with the studio?
The studio is still there. It's alive and well, going strong. You know, it's basically my playhouse.
Mhm.
I work on stuff that I want to work on. It's really Dave and I. It's like that's what we make all the Monster Magnet stuff there. Working on a little side projects and things. I don't advertise it, but I'm always willing to work with people I believe in. Because I come from the headspace that, like, I only want to work on things that I really, really love. I can't fake it. I can't just like work on music for of course money helps, you know, and stuff like that. But I was in situations where I was engineering and producing and the person can't sing. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather fucking pump gas and listen to this person or be in the same room with somebody who doesn't have any creative energy, nothing good about it. So that's what I do there. And I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun there.
All right. Hey man, we'll talk to you soon.
Michael, Drew, you guys are great. I love you.
Philip, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Be careful.
I will.
Be careful down there in Jersey.
And just think about this: each day that we go through, that we're going through, we're getting to the other side. You know what I mean? And we're all doing this together. We're all going to be, you know, God bless, and you know, everybody stay safe and healthy.
Thank you,
Phil. We love you.
Thank you.
I love you, Philip.
Love you.
Okay.
All right.
That was cool. That was so nice.
Hey, we love him. So I got a question. I have a question. Somebody out there has a question. Let me find it. This is coming from Metal Gabe, our friend Metal Gabe. Says, I heard you almost signed the Cro-Mags, but I can't find much information on it. How did you meet them, and why did that fall through? What's the story with you with the Cro-Mags?
Sure.
And how close they became to being signed to a major label?
Sure. I've loved the Cro-Mags from day one. I love that friggin' noise that they made. Those first two records, what is it, Age of Quarrel and Best Wishes? Fantastic. I would go to all of their shows. They were very, very exciting back then. They've always been exciting. Whatever form of the Cro-Mags you go to see, it's always exciting. Why I thought they were going to be huge. Why I never signed the Cro-Mags is because it would have been very unfair to bring them into a corporate environment where really I would be the only one loving them. As cool as the marketing department, the promotion department, the radio department were, they weren't that cool that they were going to go to A7 or somewhere in Brooklyn to go see the Cro-Mags at 1 o'clock in the morning. So all I could do was, at one point, I just let them know that I just can't sign you. It wouldn't be fair. So all I did over these last 30-odd years was I was verbally a champion of them and the work. John Joseph is one of my all-time favorite people. He's in the documentary, Who the Fuck Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago. Shameless plug. And, you know, and life goes on, you know. But like I said, one of my all-time favorite bands, and that's the reason why I never wound up signing them to a major label.
And also, I got to say that it was backstage at a Cro-Mags show, after I put out XXX All Ages XXX the Boston Hardcore film,
Fantastic. Yeah.
I ran into you. Where was that? That was in Manhattan. It was at the High Line, the High Line Ballroom,
which has since closed down like so many other places.
Right. And after I made that film, and you know, you showed up at the world premiere at the Boston International Film Festival,
Cambridge.
I was really touched that you made the effort and showed up. You know.
Extraordinary film. I love all that, like home footage, 16 millimeter. There was all sorts of types of formats of footage in there of wonderful bands that, of course, if you weren't in the scene back then, at least you have this as a memory. I think we froze. I hope we could hear. Oh, there we go. We froze. I froze for a minute. You know, it's so funny. In talking about that, I saw a question go by a minute ago by someone. I think his name was Steen T. He never saw the Dead Boys. I'll make it real quick. Steen, it was fantastic. But the beauty of the internet these days is that you go to YouTube, you pull up Dead Boys 1977. Hopefully you got a big screen at home and you see some and hear some crazy magic.
Absolutely. I want to bring another friend of ours on. He was the producer of the film that we did. He's an old friend of mine. I brought him into the film. It was really, the three of us worked really closely to get the film done. Let's bring on my friend and yours, producer Michael Alex.
Okay.
Hi, Michael.
Well, we're surviving here. I'm hiding in Suffolk County trying to not die. But life is pretty good otherwise.
Hey, let's talk about something from the film, something that we've been asked a lot of questions about. Let me share a photo, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. How about let's talk about this?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So this, obviously, why don't you explain what this is, Michael Alex?
Yeah, well, this is after the interview we did with Cyndi Lauper to talk about Michael's role with her, and we're at Sardi's in Manhattan. Now, the thing about Cyndi, of course, we all grew up with Cyndi. She's this not just a great musician; she's this visual artist. I happen to have been a fan of her since I was 18 years old. I saw her in cover bands on Long Island. I saw her when she was with Blue Angel playing Long Island clubs, and then, of course, when she broke. So this was like reliving childhood and being a teenager. She shows up at the interview and she looks fantastic. And so now, of course, it's on Drew and I to capture this look because she is stunning. She's articulate. And we have basically basic lighting kit, basic tools. But we put the time in. We got it together. She sat down and gave us that interview that just hit it out of the park.
She was great. She, you know, it was definitely a little stressful. You know,
well, this was a woman who, you know, was all dolled up, a real pro, and she knew how she wanted to be lit. So even Drew, at the beginning, when she wasn't sure, she made her assistant sit in the chair. She came behind your camera to look, and then she was like, okay, we can film now.
I'd like to add something for the audience that doesn't know me. So I'm 18 years with MTV. I have produced interviews, and I've interviewed not everybody, but 2/3 of everyone. And I've worked with high-profile artists before. Cyndi Lauper is a visual icon. In addition to being a musical icon, she is a visual icon. Getting it right with her is not optional. 90% is not okay. So yeah, we sweated, but you know, we got it. We got it.
Let me tell a little story about that. And Cyndi Lauper looks like $1 million in the Alago film. I'll say that. Thank you. But what happened there was many years before that, I worked on a film shoot with Madonna, and I saw how they lit Madonna, and they were very specific about how a woman of let's say of that stature it should be lit. And it's the same way they light Cher. It's the same way they light Madonna. And I remember it was very intense and very, very stressful, and how they lit her. So I really just sort of took that template into the Cyndi Lauper shoot, and I don't want to get into details of how I did it. But I will say there was a lot of natural light. We lit her with a lot of natural light, and you don't shoot someone like that from underneath. You get above the eye level a little bit, and boy, she looks like $1 million fucking bucks in the Alago film.
Yes,
that's great part of the film as well.
Yeah, she's dynamite, and she's been very, very supportive. Very supportive.
Love Cyndi Lauper, that's for sure.
Of the film along the way. So, Michael, Alex, it was good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. We love you. Thank you for being a part of the film.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys.
Stay safe out there.
You all too.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
We love that guy.
Yes, very smart cookie.
So tell us about what's happening with your book. Tell us about that now. So the book. The book really is sort of a extension of the film that we did.
Well, everyone asks, is it a companion piece? Like the film, when people say, oh, did you approach Drew about making a film? Honey, my ego ain't that big that I would approach somebody, but you approached me. We became friends. We had lunch and blah, blah, blah. The film happened. In the middle of all that, because of the success of the film, a little book publishing company called Backbeat Books approached me and said, do you have any more stories? And I was like, honey, I worked in music for over 25 years. I have a lot of stories. And those 77 minutes that we made the documentary for, we talked about the highs and the lows, and you just can't get everything in there. So I'll be shameless again. I got a little book deal. The book is called I Am Michael Alago, Breathing Music, Signing Metallica, Beating Death. It goes a little deeper in the film because I was able to write about stories and tell those stories for a longer period of time. It just came out March 25th, and it's available on Amazon.com. The back of the book is really cool. That's, oops, wait a minute. That's me and my mom in Brooklyn, 1960. And again, it's so lovely that good friends showed up. Mina Caputo from Life of Agony writes the foreword. And then, of course, I had to have two forewords. John Joseph writes the other foreword. On the back of the book, there's a great blurb by Danny Fields, by Jason Newsted, formerly of Metallica, Gary Holt of Slayer, and the very, very beautiful Jessica Pimentel from Orange is the New Black. The book is filled with really wonderful stories, and it's like everything is like short. It's like each chapter is unto itself. If you start the book and you start at Brooklyn, you know what you're going to get. You see the names of the chapters, and if you see something that says never fall in love with a hooker, you know what you're going to get when you read that chapter. So it's a very interesting book. It covers all facets of my life, and I'm very proud of it as well.
Absolutely. And for those people that are wondering, you can buy it on Amazon, right? Both the physical copy and the Kindle copy, correct?
Yes, you can get the Kindle copy and the physical copy, like you said. And it has 85 very exciting color pictures in the book, from Brooklyn to the Dead Boys to my Rough Gods photographs that I take. It's really kind of wonderful, and I'm proud of it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've got a question here. Where can I stream that film? I assume you mean our film, the film that we did. And who the fuck is that guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago is on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Hulu. It's on everything, really.
And if you only have YouTube, you could probably purchase it there on YouTube.
I think even if it's not free, it's a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
So. So if anybody out there, hey, you know what? Somebody wants to say hello, Michael. And what's happening, Rap?
Hey, Michael.
Oh my God! Hi. When you come and clean my windows?
Yeah, soon.
What's happening, Rap?
My Corona. So it's going to be BC before Corona and AC after Corona.
That's right.
Do you still have that great picture, profile picture on your page when you got your head split open?
Yeah, that was a Judge.
Oh, a Judge.
Last year, yeah.
Looks like a painting or something. I got to get a copy of that print.
How you doing, Rat Bones? What's the word?
Cool.
Word on the street?
Everything is quiet over here. I might be going back to work.
Wow.
I mean, we're working in a wet factory. What are we gonna catch? I mean, I need money. I gotta work. Goes ruthless. you
Wear
know?
mask
I
and
keep working.
gloves.
Huh?
Safety first, mask and gloves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Good. All right, Rappos, we wanted to say hi. Did you Friday is the show with Lou Kohler, so
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
You're gonna be a big part of that, buddy.
Yeah, I'm up in that one definitely.
Okay, buddy. We'll see you soon.
My fan base is upset. You know, they want more Ramones. I don't know.
Listen, I hear about it all the time. You know,
Honey, you gotta leave them wanting more.
That's right.
That's right.
We'll talk to you
Gotta
soon.
have some mystery.
See you soon.
All right. So, anybody out there have any questions for Alago? Please post a question or two. Alago's not shy. Post them up. Let's see if we can answer them, and we'll keep it moving. Also, I want to take this time to say that a couple people have asked me about the artwork that is behind me. I've gotten a couple messages asking about the artwork. That artwork is done by the incredibly talented Christine Cambria, and I highly recommend that you check out her work. That's her information scrolling underneath. Some of you know Christine and know who she is and know who she is in relation to me. But check out her work. It is absolutely incredible. Instagram at @CCambria, website www.sincerelyjoy.com. Go check out this artwork. It's absolutely incredible. Back to Alago. Let's see what we got here, Alago.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you know, at the beginning of this interview, I thought we might have said something about the passing of our dear friend Jimmy Webb. Jimmy Webb was an iconic figure in New York City. He worked at Trash and Vaudeville for many, many years. He was the manager there. Very colorful character. The biggest Jimmy Webb, the biggest Iggy Pop fan in the whole world. After he left Trash and Vaudeville, because we knew it was going to be closing, he started his own shop called I Need More on the Lower East Side on Orchard Street. Jimmy battled many years with cancer, and he succumbed to the disease. Fuck cancer. Yesterday, the 14th of April. And today, April 15th, has been about 25 years since my dad passed away. So all this stuff is like in the air, both good and not bad, but sad. So much love to Jimmy Webb.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy Webb was a New York City icon.
Yes.
I mean, for years and years and years, you know, you go into Trash and Vaudeville, and he was there. He was an incredibly beloved figure. So rest in peace, Jimmy Webb. We'll miss you. Absolutely. Okay, so here we go. Let me see what we got here. Here's a good one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is pretty rich. Hold on a sec. Alago looks like he's in great shape.
First of all, I love you because I'm not really. A couple of years ago when I walked in the room, people would be like, dude, what are you doing? I'm on the testosterone. I'm working out. I'm not working out, but thank God I look decent, but I ain't taking off my shirt.
Okay, here's one from Steen. Now, Steen is in Denmark, by the way.
Oh, Steen, you were the person who asked about the Dead Boys, saying that you never saw them before.
Right.
So I suggested YouTube.
Steen is a lover of New York hardcore. He lives in Denmark. I want to shout him out and shout out everybody else around the world who's watching the show. Can we get a abbreviated version of the Gene October story?
Woo! Yeah. So anyway, it was at this point in time that Hilly Crystal was importing all these British bands to play at CB's. I believe Chelsea, who are not so popular here, but people talked about them because they had a very colorful lead singer named Gene October. In my book, he was gorgeous. So after their set one night, I snuggled up to the bar and we started talking. And then at some point I said, listen, you're coming home with me. So I brought him home with me. I don't remember a lot. He left the next morning. Gene October, Chelsea.
Oof. Well, if he wasn't out, you've outed him now, haven't you?
Ooh, honey, after all these years, everybody's out. If he ain't out now, you're dead.
Hey, here's a friend of ours, Tim Thompson, up in Canada, who actually, Tim Thompson did the animation in the Alago film. You know, a lot of people love the animation in the Alago film.
Animation is a hoot.
Yeah.
And I love that you found him. Where did you find him again?
I found Tim Thompson on Craigslist.
Ooh,
I ran an ad on Craigslist. I was thinking that it would be kind of great to do some animation in the Alago film. I thought, why not just run an ad? Let me see what turns up. And a lot of people submitted their animation, but a lot of it was this sort of like new computer generated stuff. And I was looking for something more old school, more traditional. My dad was an animator, and I've been around a little animation in my life, and I really like the old style animation. And Tim Thompson came across my radar screen, and he submitted his stuff, and I really liked it. I really thought it was really a bit throwback. I initially reached out to him. I think he was a little spooked at first, but I think eventually he realized we were for real and what we were doing. And he was a fantastic addition to the film. And the animation really breaks up the film and really injects some humor into it as well.
Totally. And I think if I'm remembering this correctly, you had sent him a bunch of images of me and of the film. And he sent it back, and it was really good. And on the second time back, he just nailed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And really, I'm so happy that you suggested that, because it does break up the film of all those talking heads. And, you know, whether it's me kicking somebody's butt in the parking lot with Shawnee Salt after leaving Guns N' Roses, I mean, that's a fabulous little thing. Or whether it's my teacher in Catholic high school protecting me. Yeah, if you haven't seen the film yet, you're late. And you should watch the film. The animation is fantastic, and I love Tim. He's adorable. Anyway.
Actually, yeah, and the animation, it went so well, and it was so well received, and we loved it so much that we actually we decided to put even more in at the end. We did one more segment and
Don't we have
put it
5
in there.
or 6 segments in there?
Yeah. You know, in the end, so there you go, Tim. Glad we can embarrass you all the way up in Canada. We hope you're safe up there.
Thank you, Tim.
Let's see. Let me see what else. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is a good one. This one's from our friend and old school New York hardcore soldier, Laura Zeitlin. Micah, were you at the Ritz the night of the big riot when Black Flag were playing? If so, what can you say about it? Wasn't that 81?
Well, Black Flag did play there. Laura, unfortunately, honey, I don't remember a riot with Black Flag, but in May of 1981, there was a riot with Public Image Limited.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
The Public Image riot?
No, Black Flag.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I was in school in Boston at the time doing my Boston hardcore thing, but I know there was some sort of a scrape in 81. I believe it was 81. Was it 81, Laura? I believe it was 81. There was some sort of a scrap at the Ritz, but I think, I don't know if that was, I know you showed me some pictures. I know you booked Black Flag at the Ritz. That was 81, right?
It had to be, I got there in 80, I left in 83, so it's 81, 82. I don't remember who else played with them. Laura, do you remember who else played with them?
Oh, she's saying it was after. So it was that must have been a little bit later on.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah. Here's a great question from a friend of ours in France, Laurent, a great supporter of ours. What do you think of the music scene now?
Well, you know, for me, it depends on what kind of music you're talking about. I'm still a fan of very hard music. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of the venues in New York anymore. We're going to Brooklyn a lot, to St. Vitus Bar. But but there's always something great to listen to. Sometimes you have to dig deep because these aren't radio-friendly bands. But if you're out there and you're on the internet and you're involved in social media, you're going to hear about them. Oh, Ditto, I love you. Hold on, we'll tell that story in a minute. But I love the music. I love music still. I go out all the time. I was looking forward to seeing Rotting Christ at St. Vitus, but coronavirus. But I am listening to everything from Zombie Apocalypse to Ether Coven, Black Anvil, and the list goes on.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing that I learned early on is you really love heavy and hard music. I mean,
love it.
Shit
that
that
in my head.
Shit that I can't even fuck with.
The louder, the noisier, the better. I'm there. Count me in.
Hey, so Ditto Montiel, Astoria, Queens represent. The film director who's out in Hollywood. He directed A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints and a whole bunch of other stuff. We love this guy. He said, whatever happened to the naked guy in the box on the West Side Highway?
Ditto and I were walking in Chelsea into the meatpacking district, and we see a big box. And I think on the outside of the box, it said something like blowjob 5 cents, or, I had all this obscure X-rated stuff on the box. And all of a sudden, Ditto and I see the box move. And we're like, holy shit. I mean, we didn't think, I don't know if it was rats or whatever. So we peek in the box, and there's this big naked chubby kid in there with a dildo. And he wanted to know, first of all, if we were the cops. And we were like, no, we're not the cops. And it was just the weirdest thing in the whole wide world. So I think I took a couple of pictures of him, and we just walked away real fast.
Wow.
Oh, it was crazy.
He thought you guys were the dildo cops.
We thought we were the dildo cops. That is correct. I love you, Ditto. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, nice to see you, Ditto. And you have to come on the show and talk New York hardcore with us and tell us what's going on. Let me. We're gonna wind down here, wrap it up. Let me see if I have another shot or two. Actually, before we go there, I just want to remind everybody some of the upcoming shows. This Friday is our good friend from Sick of It All, Mr. Lou Kohler. So this is coming up. This is the next show. This is Friday. So everybody has to tune in for that. The show after that, the A7 Sunday Matinee Show, coming up this Sunday. We're very excited to have our old friend, New York hardcore soldier, beloved figure on the scene. Let me find it. Mr. Roger Moret. We have Roger coming up on Sunday, and then I want to announce another one. Which is a week from today. A week from today is Mr. This is a cool one, a little bit different. I want to do stuff that's a little bit different here. A week from today, we have Chris Contos from Machine Head, Testament, Verbal Abuse, Attitude Adjustment. Chris Contos, an old friend. He's back in Machine Head. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit. On these shows. And it's not just going to be, straightforward hardcore guys. We're going to have film directors and West Coast guys, and we're really gonna mix it up. And that is an example of that. Let me see what else. If else, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me see. Here you go.
Doyle at the MGM Grand about
one more time.
Oh, it's my portrait of Doyle at the MGM Grand when the Misfits were on this comeback tour. It's probably 2018. I just put him up against a wall, and there you go. Doyle is a great subject he's a dear friend. I love Doyle, but he's a great subject for my camera. So I shoot him all the time when I see him.
Absolutely. I mean, we
It's
both
part of a book that I'm working on. I'm working on a black and white portrait book. I just need a publisher, of course, but I think it's going to be really cool. I've shot everybody from Roger Moret to Rat Bones to Jerry, all of the Misfits, and it's a black and white book, and I think it's going to be really cool.
And you've come down to our A7 shows and shot a few people, right?
Love coming to those shows.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. How about?
Great. Okay.
Let me find one that. Wow, this is great. I mean, you know, we love this guy,
Nicky.
This is the Reverend Nicky Bullets from the Car Bomb Parade.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a big A7 favorite. This guy.
Well, you know, same thing. I saw Nicky do his set, and I was just like, this guy's really crazy. He's really cool. The band, I don't know why, they almost felt like the Germs to me. So I took him in the back of A7, and him and his guitar player, I just shot a couple of these pictures. I think you might have one more nice color picture. And that's not it. But yeah.
This is another one you shot at one of our last shows.
Same show. Is that Johnny LaPunk or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, close.
I think that's his name. Sure.
Yeah.
Could be part of the book, you know?
Yeah, and one more.
Okay.
One more from the road.
Uh-oh.
This is Jerry X from Dead Crew.
Of his jacket, I think. Yeah. I just love the jacket. Very, very cool. And I think that day too, I took a really cool picture of Spike Polite, one of my favorite people in East Village.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. I want to start to bring it down the home stretch here.
Okay.
Let me see one or two more questions if anybody has anything. Let's see. Hey, Drew, how do I get a message to you? Well, it's not fucking rocket science, bro. You can handle it. You could do it right here on YouTube, or you could get on my Facebook page. You know, Drew Stone on my Facebook, or www.stonefilmsnyc.com. I'll put that on the ticker. By the way, yeah, subscribe to this YouTube channel, so when the new shows come up, you know what's going on. And Tanya Insomnia says, yeah, that was Johnny LaPunk.
I just met him that day. I loved his hair. So I said, let me take your picture. And I did.
And yes, that was Jerry X.
Jerry X.
Nicky Bullets. And Justin, yo, sup, Drew, Mike from PA. Okay, Mike, nice to hear from you. Thank you for watching the show. And please keep it going. I like this one.
Uh-oh.
Yes. All right. Well, hey, man. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me, Drew. I always love to spend time with you. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening.
We love you.
In this crazy time we live in, stay home, stay safe, sanitize everything from your head to your butt to your feet. And thank you very much, Drew. This has been really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And just before you head off into zombie apocalypse, I just want to run this again on the bottom there. Michael Alago's book, I Am Michael Alago, is available on Amazon, both as a hard copy book and as a Kindle.
It's a paperback and a Kindle. And the subtitle of I Am Michael Alago is Breathing Music, Signing Metallica, Beating Death. Here we are, 2020 together. Right.
All right, thank you. We love you, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, who the fuck is that guy, Michael Alago? That was fantastic. Please watch the film. If you haven't, buy his book. He'd appreciate that. A couple things as we're heading off. I just want to mention the sponsor for our show is Riot Amplification. We're gonna talk more about that in the future. They're gonna come on. A lot of you guys and gals out there know their gear, know their stuff. guys in Antidote, Nunzio plays it, Paige from Helmet. We're going to have a couple people on in the future. We're going to bring on Roy from Downset. But this is our sponsor. Please look into it. www.friet.com. They're on Instagram and Facebook at Friet Amps. Listen, how long would you crap? Let me tell you something. I come to these shows and I got to stand in the audience, and 9 out of 10 times I got to hear your crappy fucking guitar sound. So please do me a favor. Ramp up your game. Ramp up your game. www.friet.com. Please help me help you. Anyway, good. Let's bring on Steven Messina. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Getting ready to get out of here.
Okay. Well, thanks for the picture of the day. The next
my
show.
pleasure.
Hey, is that the Shea Yard?
This is the Shea Yard right here. You can see City Field back there, right behind me, which is also testing. They're doing COVID tests over there. In fact, if I'll walk you over here real quick. Look, behind me is that's the stadium. That's also a hospital now. So I'm right in the war zone right here.
Right on. Okay, man. We'll talk. We'll see you at the next show, buddy. Get home safe.
Absolutely. Tell me when I say goodbye.
All right.
Care.
We love you. Hey, just a comment from Rich Zoller about a Downset reunion. Yes, I think all this stuff is in the works now. And yes, the guys from Downset are coming on the show. We're in the process. Actually, let me see what I got here. Yeah, I got to dig it out. But Downset's coming on the show. We're in the process of setting it up. Want to shout out Staten Island, New York, Jeff and Rage. Thank you. We love you. You got to come on the show. You got to come on the show soon as well. Rat Bones, what's happening, bro?
Yo, what's up, guys? Good
right.
show today.
Thank you. And the next show is Lou Kohler. So you got to think up, you got to dig deep about, early Sick of It All story or something like that. The time that you jumped off the fucking Empire State Building.
I got them. I got those memories.
Yep.
Forever. That's what hardcore is, forever. I mean, even just boring talk is like a great show every time so far.
Well, thank you, man. And
really bringing it.
Thank you for being a part of it. We'll see you.
You don't got my shirts? You want to pitch the shirt? You got to download those pictures.
Wait, you got one? Hold it up.
No, I don't got it right now, but I'll have it ready. I'll send you the pics. Do it right.
Send me the pics again. I'll do a prelim. Yo, Rat Bones has new shirts, and you got to have one. They're coming soon. He's sending me the images. They're awesome. Stay tuned. Rat Bones' new T-shirts. How was that?
Without Rat Bones. No. Yeah, it was great. Yo, the shows are really cool, man. Heartfelt,
Thank you, brother. And
it really I dig that, it should only be about our memories and stuff. Let's enjoy this time on the air instead of kvetching about what is going. We all know what's going on. Who cares?
Listen, if anybody wants to hear gloom and doom, all they have to do is turn on the TV for a while. What I'm trying to do here, what we're trying to do here is just, take us away from that a little bit, and just due to my accessibility and your accessibility, with these people, just kind of get into it and
we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back. No one's going nowhere.
We have some great shows coming up. I mean, we got Lou Kohler next, and then fucking Roger on
Roger, Sunday. Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. So I'll talk to you soon, bro. I'll see you on Friday.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Yo, great.
Oops, I cut him off a little. Sorry, Rat Bones. Once again, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. It was a great show. We love Michael Alago. He was a great guest. Be safe. Be careful. And we'll see you on Friday, Lou Kohler. We'll see you on Sunday, Roger Moret. It's the A7 Sunday matinee show. Be safe. Love you. Take care.